Today, we're going to talk about our SuitePeople and how it can elevate your business going forward. With NetSuite SuitePeople, you can launch, run, and grow your HR team in the #1 cloud ERP solution. SuitePeople is engineered around leading practices built over decades of experience from thousands of deployments. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. Here's what we'll be reviewing. First, we'll introduce our team on the phone and give you an introduction to iBailey and who we are. Then we'll be introducing you to SuitePeople, HR and its application features. Along the way, you'll get to see a brief demonstration, and then we'll wrap up by taking any questions from the group and make sure that we can follow up with any actions needed. First, let me do introductions. Again, I said, my name is Dino Farfante. I'm the Director of Business Development for iBailey, Technical Consulting. I've been working with NetSuite for over 12 years, both as a business owner, then implemented NetSuite 10 years ago, and as a director over consulting practices. I have industry experience for the last 30 years in Fortune 500 and mid-market companies, and have worked with a variety of different ERP systems. On the phone joining me is Ethan Haberman, who will be walking us through the SuitePeople demonstration today. Ethan is an experienced IT manager, NetSuite implementer, and solution engineer. He's certified in several NetSuite applications and has over 6 years experience, including multiple ERP systems and NetSuite. So let me start off with an iBailey overview and kind of talk a little bit about where we can help you as a business. iBailey has been around for over 100 years as a top 20 CPA firm. iBailey is more than just an accounting firm. We look at ourselves as business advisors. We're an award-winning consulting business advisory practice and professional services firm. We're driven to help clients take on the now and the next with inspired ideas, solutions, and results. Our teams have experience that span multiple industries using a proven services approach that focuses on business process and user adoption. Our practice also specializes in complementary technologies like Salesforce, CRM, data analytics, integration, and advisory services. Our service offerings are always focused on helping with today's unique challenges, like those presented for today's remote work environment that are covered in the overview of the NetSuite SuitePeople. Others of importance from our firm overall in services is we offer a variety of tax and audit services, including R&D tax credits, state and local tax compliance services, and providing evaluation and application assistance with the new CARE Act small business loan process. We're here to help you wherever we need to. Talking about NetSuite Consulting specifically, our NetSuite Consulting team provides services to clients across the United States. We have successfully implemented over 500 companies and boast an award-winning team with over 50 consultants and 100 certifications, with an average experience of over 10 plus years on our team. Right? Our team has earned America's Solution Provider of the Year award 4 of the last 5 years, and this is an award based as much on customer experience and success as it is on capability and strength. If you have any questions on who iBailey is, or if you're interested in other services, we'll have contact information at the end of the presentation to contact your client success manager. Let's move into the SuitePeople, NetSuite SuitePeople part of the demonstration. NetSuite SuitePeople offers powerful functionality for your organization to manage your HR and workforce management processes. It brings together HR and back office to provide an exceptional experience to your employees to complete most everyday HR tasks. It's built for NetSuite, in NetSuite, and works with the NetSuite platform, including NetSuite tools like customizable workflows, searches, and reports, and are configurable to how you do your business. SuitePeople is designed to enhance 3 pillars of your workforce: workforce acquisition, optimization, and management. SuitePeople will redefine how your people consume and interact with HR information. Whether your employees need to request time off, change personal information, find an employee in their organization, or recognize a peer, with SuitePeople, all of this information will be at your fingertips. Using SuitePeople time off management module, your organization can create customized time off plans that match your policies, including eligibility, entitlement, accrual frequency, and carryover. Automatic accruals and reporting allow for prospecting plans, approvals, and user-friendly self-service workflows. Here are some important features of SuitePeople that you may find interesting. We would like to point out how many features such as onboarding checklists can be personalized to your organization based on your rules and processes. This goes as well for employee self-service features like employee change requests, Several of these features will be shown when we do the demonstration. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Ethan Haberman, which will be going through the detailed demonstration on SuitePeople. Ethan?
Thanks, Dino. I appreciate the introduction. So just to go over the demonstration agenda here really quick, for today's demonstration, we'll be walking through the employee lifecycle. We'll start by taking a look at the HR dashboard, showing a potential first touch point that an employee will have with SuitePeople in onboarding. From onboarding, we will progress to the employee experience, followed by a manager experience, and wrapping up with the employee record and some HR-related analytics. So let's go ahead and get started. So here you're going to be looking at the HR manager dashboard. This is the command center, so to speak, for which a HR manager can control and access all the functionality that SuitePeople has to offer. For those of you who aren't actually familiar with NetSuite, the NetSuite platform, everything that you'll be seeing today is role-based and has configurable security to make sure that people are seeing only the data that's going to be applicable to them. As I hover over this HR manager role in the top right corner, you'll notice that there are a variety of different roles available to me. The type of information available to the HR manager is really determined by role-based permissions, which limit the ability to view and or edit data in SuitePeople. For example, most employees wouldn't have access to this HR manager dashboard. They would only have the option to see their employee center dashboard, which we'll see here in a little bit. As we actually navigate through this dashboard, you're going to see a variety of data and tasks that are available to our HR manager, who is Gina Parker. The goal of this dashboard is really to provide Gina access to the information she needs to take action. So these are going to be standard dashboards that come out of the box, but ultimately you'll be able to be configured by your HR manager to match what they're looking to report against. So we're going to take a second here and look at some of these dashboard elements and how they may be relevant for your organization. And we'll really start with quick links here. So if we look at this navigation portlet right here, this is going to be shortcuts to important reports and transactions that you're going to use often, like the ability to maybe make a time off adjustment or view a report on recent terminations. As we move down here the screen a little bit, in this key performance indicators center here at the middle of our dashboard, we're going to be able to look at KPIs that are going to give us the visibility and trending into those quantifiable metrics that you want to track in your organization, like new hires or maybe the total active employees you have within your organization. All of these KPIs do have drill down capability, as well as the ability to send them or to look at them over time, as well as do year-over-year comparisons. So for instance, if I wanted to see a trending of our new hires over time, I can click this, pop it out to a trend graph, see what our new hiring trend looks like, as well as do a year-over-year comparison to see what our hiring trends look like last year compared to this year. Lastly, we're actually able to control which KPIs we want to view, which timeframes we want to compare, as well as add any of our own custom KPIs that may be specific to any metrics that are really important to us in our organization. As we scroll down here a little bit more, we're going to see insights, which are just really another form of KPIs that give us visibility into hiring trends, headcount, and turnover, among other metrics. This portlet really allows us to compare multiple definable periods like months, quarters, and years, and determine which of those insights are important to us. As we continue to look at the dashboard, we're going to see several saved searches here. On the left, we'll see a saved search. It's going to give us a quick look at our employees by years of service, with grouped by number of employees. If we look over here on our right, we're going to see all of our upcoming new hires, which we're going to be able to then filter by department, location, or any other sorts of filters that we want to do with the ability to drill down to that employee's record. As well as if we scroll down here a little bit more, we can actually see all of those terminations that have happened recently, who that person was, why they were terminated, and other information from their employee record. If I scroll back up to the top here, in the top left, I'm going to see our reminders portlet. Our reminders are going to ensure that Gina attends to important tasks related to onboarding, employee start and end dates, anniversaries, expiring passports, and things of that nature. This list can be manipulated to show only reminders that are relevant for you. For instance, if I wanted to go in and look at all of my recent terminations as a reminder, I can just hit setup, type in terminations here, and add that to my reminders portlet. Now I can see here that I had 18 recent employee terminations with the ability to drill down and find out more information about that. So from our HR dashboard, we'll say Gina immediately notices that she does have outstanding onboarding tasks to attend to. She could either click on the onboarding tasks, which I'll do here in a second, or actually go click on this tile here at the top, which will take those to the onboarding checklists. As we know, onboarding is an important stage of the employee lifecycle, and what we want to do with SuitePeople is provide a solution to employees that will help walk them through the different steps to help them get seamlessly on board, as well as help managers and other departments complete similar steps. So we're going to see here we have 2 employees that do have active onboarding checklists that need to be attended to. If I go ahead and click on Andy Black's onboarding checklist, we're going to see that there are going to be several tasks that have been assigned to Andy via this checklist with the ability to take a look at details within those tasks. So we'll be able to see different information here that needs to be completed, when the due dates are for those, who they're assigned to, and other sorts of information that will not only populate reminders, but also be able to drive email reminders as these tasks come up to be completed. So for instance here, we can see here at the top that we have background checks that needs to be completed by Gina Parker, myself, as someone who's working in HR, or perhaps someone IT needs to complete the ordering of a laptop or monitor. So as soon as this employee checklist is initiated based on when the employee is hired, these things will then populate in those reminders for giving us the ability to drill down to those specific onboarding tasks. So if I go back to my dashboard and actually go click on the onboarding tasks that are assigned to me, I can see those different onboarding tasks that have been assigned to me based on those checklists. If I wanted to go in here and actually complete one of these different onboarding checklists, I can come in here, either mark that it's in progress or has been completed, as well as add any relevant notes to complete that we can reference back to from a reporting standpoint as we go through this onboarding checklist. So also a consistent onboarding process is something that we know is important. And so as we build out these onboarding checklists, we're going to have the ability to segment those out by different employee types. So we do have the function of a onboarding checklist template that you can build out for the different types of employees that you have that would have specific sorts of tasks that are specific to that sort of employee or employee type. So now what we want to do quickly is take you through what it would be like being an employee to see what an employee interaction will look like as they're using SuitePeople HR. So initially, what I want to do here is actually take a look at the employee dashboard. So what we do within SuitePeople is we have an enhanced the employee center. So with the solution comes enhanced dashboard capability, an employee directory, an organizational browser, the ability to publish news to different departments and managers, recognize your employees, and it's all controlled through permission access so that you only see the correct information as a manager about your employees and what you, as the employee, can see about your peers. So within SuitePeople, like I mentioned, all employees are granted access to the Employee Center, bringing a consistent experience and making it simple and easy for new employees. So in this case, we're looking at the Employee Center through the eyes of our employee, Emily Emerson. Emily's able to see all of her information in one place, as well as any important company communications. As we can see here in the top left, if you are utilizing NetSuite's SuitePeople payroll offering, you're able to see all of the recent paycheck information. You're able to print any pertinent pay stubs, which is going to show recent paycheck earnings, 401k deductions and contributions, taxes, maybe any expense reimbursements, and paid time off balances as of the time of this recent paycheck. If I go back to my dashboard, what we're going to be able to also see is similarly to what Gina had on her dashboard, Emily's going to see reminders as well. And these reminders are going to be reminders of any outstanding tasks that need to be completed, whether they're onboarding tasks or other tasks that have been assigned to me as an employee. As you can see here in the top center area, we're going to see a company news portlet. And this company news portlet is essentially going to allow you to add any sort of company news, or if the HR team needs to deliver any sort of other information or links to internal or external resources, and they're going to be front and center, helping drive user adoption and increasing employee productivity. As we scroll down here a little bit, we're also going to see what we call a time off portlet. And what this time off portlet is going to actually give Emily insight into her time off balances, status of her time off requests, with the ability to request time off. And time off is, as Dino mentioned, something that is all going to be configured as part of your implementation to be able to have all of your different time off types and accrual rules and things of that nature assigned to your different employees. On the Home tab, Emily's also going to be able to see alerts of any expiring balances or any pending requests. If I actually click on the Balances tab here, Emily's able to see a full summary of all of her time off balances, including scheduled and to be used balances. And we can actually take a deeper look into the balance details by clicking on this balance details links as well. So if I click on this balance details link here, that's actually going to take me to my time off summary, which is going to allow me to look at time off as of any as of date. So if I wanted to look in the future to see what sort of time off I would have based on my current accrual rules for my different time off types, I can just simply switch this as of date. Let's change this to June 30th, and we can see my time off balances update there based on that as of date. We'll also be able to see any pending requests and any past time off requests that have been approved and already taken. So let's go ahead and make a new request, time off request here to show you what that process looks like. So let's say that Emily is actually wanting to take some time off, upcoming time off here at the end of April. All I have to do is select the start and end the end date for my time off request. And then that'll allow me to actually hit a drop down here to select which time off type I'd like to take. So for instance, it looks like I do have 7.3 days of time off, paid time off that's available here. That will actually populate that for all of my days. If I wanted to come in here and edit on a per day basis, which sort of time off type I want to take, as well as make any manipulations on if we're taking full days or only partial days, that's something that I can do here right from this drop down. Additionally, what you're going to see here is if there are any coworkers that you are working with that are on your team that are going to be away, that will indicate as you are taking that time off or making that time off request to help you in case you need to not take time off at the same time as some of your coworkers. Additionally, you then can add a message to your approver to help them give any other pertinent information to approve or reject that time off request. So we'll go ahead and just submit this time off request and go back to our home dashboard. Once we go back to our home dashboard, what we're able to see here is a couple of other things that are going to be available to Emily as she navigates through NetSuite SuitePeople. As I scroll down here, we're going to see what we call a Kudos Portlet. So in this Kudos Portlet, Emily's going to have the opportunity to recognize any employee in the organization for a job well done. And as you go through implementation, you'll set up different organizational values that you'll able to attribute those kudos to. So this really encourages employee interaction and promotes your company's culture. There are also full reporting capabilities to see who the top performers are within your organization, making it very easy to recognize employees who have gone above and beyond their daily duties. And we'll take a look at that here in a second. So what Emily wants to do before actually giving kudos is access her employee directory. So if we go take a look here on the left by clicking on the employee directory, that's actually going to go take us down to the give us the ability to see the entirety of all the employees within our organization. And we're going to actually go try to drill down to somebody to give kudos right from their employee directory. So we're going to go ahead and look up Christian Walker. As you can see, as I type, it updates the search, and I'm going to go navigate down to Christian Walker. Additionally, this employee directory is available from both the web browser and the NetSuite mobile app. So as we searched for Christian Walker, we're able to see high-level information about his job, location, and contact information. And all of the information that shows here is going to be configured based on your organization's preference. And then from here, we're also able to see where Christian sits within the organization, which is actually going to take us down to our company's organizational browser. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to give us a visual representation of the organization. And it's actually going to dynamically change as we move up and down the org chart to show us where we sit within the organization, where anybody sits based on where we're clicking within this organizational chart. So I can see Christian Walker is actually on my team. If I wanted to come down to Christian Walker's profile down here, I can actually come down in here and it's all drag and drop capability. If I wanted to give maybe somebody kudos right from this screen, I can click on give kudos right on Christian Walker's employee record there and say, great job on the Anderson project. I can attribute those organizational values that I alluded to before. We'll say that he showed leadership and teamwork. As soon as I give those kudos, it's actually going to show Christian and both his supervisor will receive an alert for those kudos, as well as it being saved to his employee record and available for reporting. So I'll go ahead and navigate back to my dashboard. And as you can expect, on the left here, looking at my home links, Emily's able to actually edit her employee profile. So she can edit things like her phone number, address, emergency contacts. And if you are using NetSuite SuitePeople Payroll, you'll actually be able to update direct deposit information as well if you are utilizing direct deposit. So now that we've taken a quick look at the employee experience, or part of the employee experience at least, let's go take a look at a supervisor's experience here. So I'm actually now switching roles to Matthew Maynard, who is Emily's supervisor. And you can see here on the left here, I now have the availability to see two different dashboards. So I'm going to have a dual perspective to be able to see tasks and portlets as both an employee and both as a manager as well. So if I click on manager here, it's actually going to take me to the manager dashboard, which is going to allow Matthew to see company news and announcements specifically for managers. Additionally, in this reminders portlet, you can see there's a lot more information here. He's able to see any of those outstanding tasks to complete, as well as approval requests, which are going to include things like time off requests, expense reports, purchase orders, or purchase requests to approve, things of that nature. He's also going to be able to see who's out of the office, maybe birthdays, anniversaries, or someone who may have submitted a separation request. Matthew's also going to be able to have complete visibility into his team. So as you can see here on the left, he has the listing of everybody that he has as direct reports with searches and lists regarding their time off and kudos given, but also their profile information. So if I'm actually going to drill down to Annie's employee record here, with SuitePeople's advanced employee permissions, we can actually restrict the data that a manager can view on the employee record. So here, based on Matthew can view information about his direct reports, whether it's their contact information or even compensation, if he's given those correct permissions. You can also place time off requests on behalf of an employee if they aren't able to log those entries themselves. If I go ahead and go back to my dashboard, looking at the from a manager view, I'm going to be able to see all of the time off requests here as well. So we can actually see these time off requests that Emily just made and any additional requests that I need to process, approve or reject those depending on what our preference is going to be there. It's also going to show, if I go into Emily's time off request here, it does show the manager as well, if there are going to be other people that are out of the office during the time that she has requested. And it's actually showing that I'm going to be away during her paid time off request. So I can use any of the information provided here to approve or reject this request. So now that we've taken a quick look at the supervisor view, let's go ahead and navigate back to the HR manager, Gina Parker's dashboard really quick. So let's say Gina wants to maybe see an employee's employment details without actually navigating through employee list. She can use NetSuite's global search capability here, type in Emily's name, and be able to navigate right down to her employee record right from the global search. As we open Emily's employee record, we're able to really be confident that this record is going to be the single source of truth, a one-stop shop, so to speak, for all HR-related data that's going to be related to Emily. So as I scroll down here, after just looking at some basic contact information here at the top, I'm going to be able to see different things here like communication and files. So all automated communication and any sort of relevant files that we want to store on her employee record are things that we can store and upload, whether it's resumes, certifications, things of that nature. Any of those sort of automated requests that are coming via email are also going to show us so that we can see any of the communications that our employee is receiving. If I click on the Human Resources tab, we're going to be able to see any other information that we've collected about Emily. So what her job title is, any direct report she has or who her supervisor is, change history, and other crucial details like her work status, key contacts of hers, education, emergency contact information, things of that nature. As I look at the compensation tracking tab, this is where we're able to see when her last review date was, how much she get paid, what currency, when her next review date is scheduled, things of that nature. And if you are utilizing NetSuite's SuitePeople payroll, Gina is able to not only track compensation, benefits, and time off information, but also able to pay them accordingly, whether it's bonuses, expense reimbursement, salary deductions, things of that nature. And we're always going to have visibility into her pay stubs, not only through the Employee Center like Emily saw, but from a HR manager view here as well. Additionally, for any of that time off, as we were talking about earlier, we're able to see the time off plan that's been assigned to Emily. So we can set up multiple time off plans depending on the different groups of people that you are assigning time off plans to, as well as any of the accrual information that's available now, and then other balance sort of information based on those time off accruals. Lastly, we can look at benefit information, so we can track employer and employee cost, as well as what Emily has enrolled in. And of course, these can all tie to payroll items as well if you are utilizing NetSuite payroll. Lastly, what I want to do here is click on effective dating, or click on edit here. So now that we've toured a bulk of the employee record, I'd like to point out that anything that we change in here is going to be effectively dated. So by clicking on edit this, now we can make a change to an employee record effective today or in the future. So if we want to determine what the change reason is for what we're changing on their employee profile and the change reason details, this is all going to be saved and audited and then only go into effect on the effective date that we've selected here. Lastly, what I want to show you quickly is a little bit of reporting and analysis that's going to be available using Suite Analytics. So if I actually want to look at this tile right here, I can click on Headcount Analysis. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to dive in and see a little bit more information about our headcount and other information around that. So for instance, our organization has been hiring rapidly, and Gina wants to ensure that we're hiring in both the right location and we're maintaining an equal gender balance. Within SuitePeople comes many out-of-the-box reports, such as this headcount analysis, and this is going to allow us to get visibility into headcount growth and can be filtered using a variety of different criteria. For example, we can filter down by department, location, gender, or subsidiary, among some other sorts of filters. So if I wanted to look at 2019 and maybe filter by our facilities department. So we'll go ahead and select facilities only. What we're going to be able to see here is what our headcount was over time, and then maybe we wanted to break that down by gender. We can click this breakdown area, and we can see that that there was the turnover that was reflected here towards the bottom as well, where we have the hiring and turnover trend. But if we look back up here, because we did break it down by gender, that we lost both of our female employees in our facilities department in August of last year. If we wanted to do some initial analysis on that turnover, what we can actually do is go to another report that's called Turnover Analysis. And if we go to this turnover analysis, what that's going to allow us to do is have a similar sort of view, but with a sole focus on evaluating why that turnover happened. So if we wanted to go back to 2019, we can see what our turnover trend is here by total. Let's go ahead and filter back down to that facilities department. And we can see those two turnovers that we had in August of last year. see that those were both female. And then we can actually go down here and look at this graph to see why did that turnover happen? Was it involuntary? Did they leave for another job? And any other sorts of things that we're tracking as they are leaving the organization. So that concludes today's demonstration on SuitePeople. We first reviewed the onboarding checklist, which is really the first phase of the employee lifecycle, created a standard list of onboarding tasks that can be tracked throughout the onboarding process to help drive employee engagement and reduce turnover and associated cost. Additionally, we then reviewed the Employee Center through the eyes of Emily. Company news, as well as paycheck and benefits selection visibility, also helps drive user adoption. With the self-service functionality, we found coworkers using the directory and org browser, looked at a personal profile, granted kudos, and then also performed a time off request. And then as a manager, we went in and looked at that time off request using the unique manager dashboard. Additionally, our manager, Matthew, was able to look at the direct reports, his team portlet, and then also any reminders to ensure that Matthew's staying current with his tasks. And then lastly, we looked at Gina's HR dashboard, built for really managing our employees from a single location, reviewed all the information found on the employee record that has every change being effectively dated and auditable. Lastly, customizable reports and analytics really showcase the wealth of information accessible using SuitePeople's reports and saved searches. So with that, I'm going to actually turn the screen share back over to Dino so that we can look at one final slide before going into Q&A. Thanks, Dino. So as this slide illustrates, SuitePeople is really a component of NetSuite's unified platform and offers really a fully integrated HR solution, along with core ERP, professional services automation, CRM, e-commerce, and a multitude of other functionality that's available within the NetSuite platform. As we saw a portion of today, SuitePeople has really several functional areas and features. Global HR allows us to gain historical and real-time data visibility to all of our employee and job data using reporting and Suite Analytics. Workforce Rewards allows us to track employee salary, bonus, and benefit data and recognize employees for a job well done. And under workforce management, we're able to mitigate HR administrative burden by automating onboarding and offboarding processes, as well as time off management requests and approvals, and by enabling employees to manage their own data and initiate employee record changes via self-service. And then lastly, SuitePeople really continues to evolve in the areas of employee engagement and Suite Intelligence. Really an example of that would be what the SuitePeople team is doing right now to improve overall intelligence in engagement is performance management functionality, which is currently in development and slated for a future release. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it back over to Dino to facilitate any Q&A.
Thank you, Ethan. Let me open it up to the team, and I'm going to introduce Amy Canust, our Director of Solution Engineering, to help with any of the Q&A questions out there. Amy?
Thank you, Dino. We do have a couple of questions. So Ethan, I will direct these to you. The first question is, was the onboarding checklist customized, or was this a canned list from NetSuite?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So typically as we go through implementation, that's something that we are going to work with you to really try to identify those different tasks that are going to be relevant for your organization specifically, and then can help you build out what those different checklists look like. So they're not canned, so to speak, but they are something that we do work with you collaboratively with to ensure that those checklists are populated by those different templates and involve all the different things that are going to be relevant for you and your organization.
Thank you, Ethan. So one other question. This one's a little bit of a technical question. This particular company tracks flex time for salary employees if they work over 40 hours a week. So the question is, can that be tracked as additional time off over and above normal PTO?
Yeah, and that's a good question. I think that's something we need to dive into a little bit more, and so we can definitely take that as a follow-up and follow up with you just to really understand fully amount of the use case, what that accrual would look like, and other things of that nature. So, yeah, that's something we can definitely do a follow-up on.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ethan. I'll turn it back over to Dino. Those are all of our questions. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. One more. Does SuitePeople come with a repository of job descriptions?
So SuitePeople does have the function, and we didn't go into it today, of job, of really job types, job levels, different things of that nature, so that you can assign someone a job that have different things that you can report on, like you know, minimum and maximum and median salary information, so that you can use that for reporting. And each one of those jobs does have the ability to have job descriptions assigned to them. However, it's not going to pre-populate that, if that was your question, with, you know, the specifics around what job duties and functions are of that nature. But we do have the ability to have those different jobs set up that you are able to assign to people. They can be transferred between jobs, and then really have a lot of reporting around the different information that are related to those jobs and job families.
Thank you, Ethan. Dino, that is the extent of our questions at this time.
Amy and Ethan, thank you very much for a great demonstration. Now let's talk about next steps. You know, if you look at your NetSuite journey, through implementation, through additional optimizations such as SuitePeople, your journey doesn't end at that point. And iBailey has a suite of solutions and services that allow you to take your journey forward from an optimizations perspective, from an on-demand support perspective, and from a managed service perspective. We do have managed services that will allow you to optimize modules and configuration throughout the life of your NetSuite experience. And I'd ask you to reach out to your client success manager for any questions on our administrator as a service or our managed service offerings going forward. So with that said, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attention today. And again, please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.